Thank you to our sponsors for today's video, StarCharge and Amber. StarCharge is the largest EV charging manufacturer in the world and is also a provider of residential and commercial battery storage and microgrid solutions. This video is also brought to you by Amber. Amber offers a modern extended warranty for your Tesla's battery and more without the burden of long-term contracts or upfront payments. Check out the link in the description below to browse their plan options and get started with a free over-the-air diagnostic check. Hello and welcome to another Out of Spec Reviews video. Welcome back to California and welcome to actually the Quail. This is a special event commemorating a lot of different automakers and other showcasers that are here to showcase some of their products. And in this case, we have a new Acura EV concept. Now, you'll know I don't typically cover concepts, or at least haven't typically covered concepts. And that's really because, well, it's not a real car. We always wait until you get some series intent in there. But I figured I would, at least since we're here, we have the time. My friend Dave, who's the head of design for Acura, wanted to talk to you guys. I thought, okay, let's cover their new Acura Performance EV concept. More so because of anything else, this is not based on Ultium. From a technical standpoint, from an architectural standpoint, Honda and Acura are now actually working hard and building a production facility on their next generation platform for electric cars that is all done in-house. So the ZDX and the Prologue, the Ultium collaboration, that was a one and done. Those cars will get a facelift. They will be seen through the end of their cycle as a collaboration. But we're now finally able to film really our first ground up battery electric vehicle from Honda and Acura, other than maybe the Clarity, but that was kind of shared. So either way, it's exciting. I'm going to take you on a quick tour of this, what we can expect, and then you'll love Dave, who's the head of design for Acura. He is going to talk just about design. This thing actually is pretty interesting, so join me. Well, you join us at the lawn at the Quail, which is a really special, crazy event. We have Hennessy's over here. There's a Rimac Navara R over that way. I mean, it's just an insane thing. There's actually Porsche Macan EV and Taycan Turbo GT over there as well. All of the favorites. There's this new Integra Type S, which is like got these Honda racing parts on there, which is like the GT3 RS of Integra. I don't know. Cool stuff everywhere. This is what we're talking about in this video, because for me as an EV nerd, as someone who likes to bring the latest and greatest EV news to you guys, it marks the start of the public-facing communications on this entirely new Honda and Acura chassis, platform, electrical architecture, battery system, everything. The thing was, when Honda and Acura launched the Prologue and the ZDX, those were, we need to get an EV to market. We've been slow. We have not either A, wanted to put a ton of time and money and resources into a platform that isn't going to last very long into the future, maybe perhaps their eyes. They went to General Motors and said, okay, and I did a video with my friend John, who was basically the lead engineer of those vehicles, and they got a parts catalog from GM, and they got to choose, okay, we want these brakes, we want this power number, we want these wheels, whatever. And then basically they just designed the top hat for the Ultium platform. It uses GM software. I mean, it's all pretty much General Motors in those vehicles. And I thought, okay, that's not the purest sense of what Honda and Acura should be at least communicating, showing the world what they believe an electric car should be. And I was very clear and upfront in those reviews. Those might be great cars. Prologues have actually been selling pretty well in our town. I've seen them everywhere. We got to do some more testing on that car and benchmark it and do all the stuff. I'm not saying it's a bad car in any way. All I'm saying is it's not the true representation of what these brands believe an electric car should be. Now we are seeing it really for the first time. So what I would like to do is I'd like to introduce Dave here to the new Acura. What is the exact name called? In Performance Precision EV concept? Performance, Acura Performance EV concept. It's written right here. I have eyes. You have eyes, hopefully. Maybe if you're listening to this, you don't have eyes. But if you do have eyes, you can see what it looks like. There's lots of intricate details. The wheels have this sort of ununiform spacing, which is pretty cool. 23s. It's got all these textures, this incredible satin white finish, which I absolutely love. It's very similar to my Polestar 1, but maybe even a little bit more matte than the Polestar 1 finish that I have. I always love a white and black combination on a car, little two-tone panda bear. I think it's great. This really is going to be the first EV built on this new platform. Following will be a Honda product, I believe, which might be similar, I don't know. But you know, you can tell they're going for a mid-size electric SUV, pretty clearly a Model Y sized vehicle right here, but certainly going to have that Acura flair built into it. Another note is they're building an EV hub in Ohio. So Honda and Acura will be building up a supply base, a factory base, a production facility to produce this car and other cars to come on this platform, and maybe even others into the future. As much as I've tried to beg and plead and say, please bring the Honda E to America, they're not doing it. So this is what we get instead. But it's still, I honestly think, a pretty good looking car. So let's transition over to me and Dave, talk about this car. Who knows what the heck he's gonna say. He's a wild card. So let's get into talking to Dave, and then we'll wrap up the video. Hey guys, this is Dave. Dave is head of Acura Design, responsible for honestly some of the best looking cars on the road for a long time now. So I'm a fan of your design.
Thank you.
I don't know much about design. I've been explaining to you, our viewers know this as well, and I'm always the nerdy technical guy. So what I would like is for you to really take over. Can you walk us through the general design process of this? Why do you even do concept cars? Can we start there?
Yeah. First though, I can tell you, I can do your design 101 really quick. Yeah. I call it the 10-second rule. Do you like it?
Yeah, looks
great.
There
we go. We're done. So, I mean, you either know or you don't. Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, being a little facetious, but I guess, so the design process, you know, we know what it is. So we know we're doing the new platform. We have the Honda dedicated E platform. We know that platform, we know the dimensions, we know what it is.
So those platforms comes with certain technical requirements and basically barriers that
basically you have to put people in it. Darn it. And then you have to, you know, it's a wheel and tire, it's suspension, it's all that. Electrification frees up some. I mean, there's both sides, you know, you have to put batteries in, so where do they go? And everybody puts it on the floor, but and then the suspension, you think, oh, it's completely different, but it's not. It's still, you know, a car and car pieces and things like that.
And once you
shocks and things like that.
Well, Wishbone or McPherson, then you can work around
and that's it. But you also need those to drive. So you work around that, but then, you know, the design process is always the same. You start with a concept, you start with a package, you start with kind of what is it for, who is it, who's buying it, what do they require, and then in your intuition on what it should be. But with electrification, it kind of opened up that you could probably take more risks if you want to, because people expect it, maybe.
So from a consumer standpoint, they're more willing to go with something different.
So.
Okay.
I think so, because it's not a niche anymore, but it kind of is, and it's a fine line. You know, there's a tipping point where they should just start looking like every car, so you just, you know, they're ubiquitous. But right now, you can get away with a little more style for sure.
Yeah.
And it frees up things like lighting and no radiator help. You know, it's like we can do different front ends. So, you know, our front end here, we have the diamond pentagon on our ICEs.
Sure.
So, we don't want to throw that away. That's our brand. So we literally still have the diamond pentagon, but it's clean and smooth, and, you know, we're lighting the A mark. I think that, you know,
this is such an interesting design element where you.
But because we always had the center brake. Yeah. So Acura center brake is tried and true for us. Our brand is.
But just accentuated.
Yeah,
and would be the best way to describe
it. You know, we've mentioned boats a lot in our press things. You know, the water line and, you know, kind of the power boat feel, and so boats always have a water line. They are always pointy because they got to go through the water.
Sure.
So it's the same premise of going through the air, I guess.
So perfect for waterfording.
No question. But and I think that, you know, when you do something clean, it's in the details. So the details in the lower and the contrast of the body color.
Right. So how important is this? You know, we're starting to see, okay, roof line, maybe a different color than body, than even the lower, and we're starting to see these darker elements, especially in electric cars down low, to hide this floor battery space.
Right. Or it's proportion.
Okay. Yeah.
So proportion, you know, okay, you and I, we're going to build a car.
Great.
But you're going to do all the mechanics. But I'm going to say, here's how we're going to make it look cool. And here's the easy way. We're going to go proportion. So it's wheels at the corners.
Yep. So push them all the way out.
Push them all the way out.
Yep.
And then make it a little wider.
Yeah. You always want as much.
And then the stance is amazing.
Yes.
And then you go, let's lower the roof, which hurts people. You got to get in. You got to get it. Yes. And that'll be on your.
Yeah, yeah, it's great. Yeah.
Anyway, so what you do is you literally manipulate that.
Yeah.
So if we stand over here, so the amount of space here, it might even be a little bit much for me, but
Okay.
yeah.
But this is pretty juicy.
Yeah, but then you do contrast surfacing, and then you make it feel like this. But you split it so that the mass. I mean, if it was all body color,
Yeah.
it'd be, well, that's pretty thick, or
Yeah,
it just would. So you end up manipulating and getting. The advantage is, as a designer, you go, look, we have more real estate. Let's do more sculpture and more, like, cool surfacing or whatever.
And you've done some really interesting, like, intricate surfacing details. Like, I'm even noticing in here this ductwork
Right, the
is
veins,
really those really
that
cool.
in here, this is that it's
This
like
takes a lot of time to get these patterns in,
it
spaced
does.
correctly.
And to just think of doing it, and then because you have that space is big.
Yeah.
So how do you break it up? There was a point where I was almost saying we should do matte
Okay.
on this, and then glass, like piano,
Mm-hmm.
but then we just did all piano. I mean, I was wrong.
So on this particular platform, obviously this is going to be the first vehicle on a new platform. What are some of those restrictions? 5 passenger in this case, I would imagine.
Well, I think that the restriction is the platform size.
Yeah.
So I think it's flexible enough you could do whatever passengers.
Okay.
But it's this particular car. I'm not going to tell you, but
Sure.
you did the math just now.
Okay.
I mean, and it's a coupe style.
Yeah.
So
what is the benefit from an electric standpoint? We have this debate on our channel a lot. And I know we're not necessarily talking about this car, but I just love your design expertise. I personally, to the eye, love a boxy SUV. ZDX in the rear, to me, so cool. It just extends all the way out.
I like that car
and comes
too.
down. Looks good. Yeah. Okay.
Which is funny because that car, I digress, but I said I want the silver rockers, nobody else did.
Yeah.
And I kept saying I want it, and now it looks techie to me, and I
love it.
I'm so happy I did it. I'm like,
Yeah.
you know what? I don't care about you people. We need to do that.
Yeah,
But I
that's
think
amazing.
that stance of that is what this, we learned from that on this.
Yeah. So what is the benefit from a visual standpoint of these coupified SUVs?
Performance.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, I don't mean wind performance.
Sure.
I mean style. It's
You
literally.
look at that and go, wow.
It must be fast.
Okay.
It's sleek and it's cool and it's. I don't feel like I have an SUV. I feel like I am sporty.
Yeah, sure.
But I can fit all the stuff in.
So that's
the key.
This is a really smooth taper back here.
Yeah.
So like a lot of coupe SUVs
Has
will
a brake.
extend a roof line, so
Yeah.
you have rear seat headroom.
Yeah.
And then they might even do a visual trick. I'm
Sure.
thinking like Mustang Mach-E does that
Off-step,
painted
yeah.
thing. Yeah. And then they'll come down
Yeah.
back
The
here.
key is to do this and fit the people in and have them be comfortable.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's always been Honda Acura magic, is packaging.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you guys are great at.
We're the best.
Yeah.
So I think that the idea is keep it as clean as we can. And there'll be some aero. I think that most people think, well, because it's electric car, it should have aero, and it's like, well, all cars should. I mean, honestly, you want
Why
better
is this
gas
different?
mileage. What? That's a dumb question. But I think that we're trying to manipulate it where it's dramatic and cool, but yet does everything you're supposed to do.
There's some amazing hardware going by at the moment.
How cool is that?
I just want to talk to you about these wheels.
Yes.
23s.
23s.
We're starting to see larger wheels and even larger wheels coming.
Yeah.
Is that a designer push tread?
It for 100 years?
Yeah.
Probably.
Sure. Yeah.
I'll tell you what happened. We were doing the scale, and we were doing a half scale, and we had the Concept E, the blue, the precursor to the
original.
ZDX,
Yeah.
and that had 23s on it.
Right.
And we had the half scale of that was sitting here, and we were doing this, and I went, you know what? Could we put those wheel and tire? And they're like this big, they're half scale.
Yeah.
Let's put that, because we do modular where it's just this axle and we can shove any tire we want.
Oh, cool.
And I said, let's put that on there. So we did, and I went, that looks way better. So that's how this happened.
Amazing. But the wheel's really cool. I mean, from
Yeah,
an
isn't it?
intricate standpoint, these are not evenly spaced, which is kind of interesting.
And it got more even than they were originally. They were skewed pretty good, but
Yeah.
Lily did this, with Rick, and they kept going back and forth, and I was like, dude, the thing is, we had done the glitch on the Concept E,
Yeah.
and I I think this is taking the glitch, which you're not sure what we could do with that
Sure.
throughout, and then making this.
So it's really cool.
Yeah, and it ended up being an evolution of that, but done in a way that it's aero, but yet light, and it just feels right. It feels like it's moving, and but here's the thing, that it's Acura's precision crafted performance, and I never go away from that performance. So it's a wheel. It's not a flat, I'm aero.
Right, sure.
It's got the aero in the right places, but it feels like it has depth and it has a performance wheel. You can see the brake.
So one last question about this.
Yep.
The ZDX concept that you originally premiered, the E, what was it called again? The one that came before?
Concept E.
Concept E. That was actually fairly close
Precision
to ZDX.
Concept E.
Okay, the official, get the lawyers.
Yeah,
in
I
there.
called it.
That was pretty close to ZDX.
I called it PC2.
Okay, why?
Precision Concept 2.
Oh, Precision Concept 2. Okay, got it. How close do you think this will be to a series car?
I'll put it this way. I think that when you see the actual car, you'll recognize it.
Okay.
Like, oh, that was it. Yeah.
Okay, amazing.
I think that's always that's the goal, is like, oh yeah, we saw that car, and they'll never make that, and then you make it, and they go, wow.
Okay.
And cool. It'll change. There's changes from production. You
yeah,
can't
you
help
need
that.
door handles. To
Yeah,
start,
that stuff.
like that. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, this is the roadmap.
How much does like legal FMVSS, different markets, global products?
Always.
How much does this piss you off?
Oh, it doesn't piss me off, because I get it. I mean, I understand it, but
Yeah.
it's, and everybody thinks, oh, we're going to have all autonomous cars. You don't have to do any of that. It's like, yeah. Till a 56 Ford comes over.
Sure. Yeah. Exactly.
So I think here's an example. For me, we need to do that.
Yeah, the digital mirror will
we totally need
change
to do that.
the game.
It will change everything.
Yes.
But this headlight is legal.
Right. So it has all the right,
It's
lighting,
doable.
Max out.
It's
all this
doable.
stuff. Yeah.
And 10 years ago, there's no way.
Sure. You mean just to get the bulb strength?
The size.
Out of this.
Yeah. So the power of the lighting and LED, and literally, I think that alone, NHTSA can say whatever, MVSS, whatever. That helps us to technology. You could almost not do the lights, like little strips.
Yeah, that'd be kind of interesting.
Yeah. We thought about it, but I think the identity of it. The other thing is, I started your whole conversation with proportion.
Yeah.
So the lights break up a lot of the mass and the proportion.
Okay. Yeah, it just gives it some.
Yeah, the feel's good. Yeah, and it's some bling and interest, and yeah, it's cool.
One last, not related to this car, but one final last question is: a lot of our viewers have ZDX either on order or they're taking delivery. We have a lot of EV drivers. What color specification, what trim should they go for?
From Type S.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Type S.
Well, first of all, you get driver assistance and you get the big wheels and all the other stuff.
Yeah, and we get the black roof.
Yeah, the black roof. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah.
That alone, you get a Type S because you get the black roof.
And then what color? I like the orange, but I don't know. I'm weird.
No, the Tiger Eye?
Yeah.
I'm going to be corporate. Every color looks good, but
oh, come on.
But the blue is the blue was the show car.
That was the communication.
Like if I bought a Boxster, I'd buy a silver one.
Yeah.
Because that was the show car.
Yeah.
So to me, the blue with the silver bottom and the black roof, and the big wheel, you're like, here's what I do, and everybody here knows. They know my little mantras that I'll say.
Yeah.
And one of them is I'll walk up and go, that doesn't suck.
Nice.
So the blue with the silver and the black, that doesn't suck.
Cool.
It's good.
Well, I appreciate the suggestion and can't thank you enough for
giving
us behind the scenes a little bit in your thought process.
Anytime, man.
That.
Yeah, it's ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah, dude. I mean, I don't know how you do it because you really have, incredibly high quality, well-priced products, but they look so interesting.
Well, and that's the thing. It's an age-old quote, Henry Ford. It costs the same to make a pretty car.
Sure. There you go. Yeah.
But I think it's the attention to detail is kind of a Honda thing. It's from day one, it's literally baked in.
I think I'm getting sunburnt off the floor here. It's time to walk away. There's not much to say from a technical side yet. We don't know anything about battery cells, battery capacity, motors, and this is where I've never really covered concept cars up until now. Forgive some of the noise in the background, but is it worth it to you guys to watch a video about a car we don't know final specs on, or should I not cover these as much? You let me know in the comments below. Do you like this? Do you not? I want to make the content you want to see, of course. And I'm interested in it, at least. I like to know where the direction of the brand is going. And certainly it seems like they're going pretty hardcore with their own platform. Huge thanks to Dave for joining. It's actually one of his last projects as head of Acura Design. He's moving more into a consultancy division as he passes the torch to another team of designers that will follow in his footsteps. So I don't know what that means for the future of Acura Design, but I will say, like, Integra Type S with all the Honda Racing parts on here, the HRC stuff, freaking awesome. They know how to design a car. It looks great, very well engineered. No one can ever knock Honda engineering, in my opinion. And that's where I just didn't love ZDX and Prologue, because it was General Motors engineering, not Honda Acura engineering like this will be. So thanks so much for watching another Out of Spec Reviews video. In my mind, this marks the start of a pretty exciting electric car that we will be covering all the way through to production. And with that, see you on another one again soon. Bye-bye.